Hi, welcome to Finding the Word. I'm Melanie Brown. And today's word actually is failure. And this is me just examining the last month or so and just looking at the fact that I am finally consistently giving the word. And consistently coming on here is like daily, no questions asked, determined. And looking at the fact that I had dealt with fears like always. I have always fighting fears, praying, fasting about fears, and uncovering more where assistance or help is needed with something I'm fearful about. I did realize that there was fear of rejection and criticism that was stopping me from moving forward and just giving my daily scripture. So, but at the same time that I have been working through this over the last month and a half or so, almost a couple months now, I have also been working on PointSmart, which is my behavior reward system. It's been 20 plus years dealing with that with my children and others. I launched it in 2016, but then have been trying to really go back and relaunch and start again for the last 5 years. So I had to examine. Same thing going on there that was going on with Finding the Word. Are there fears to uncover? There was a fear of failure, a fear of just it failing. But then I had to get to the root of what is failure here. And so, last week when Lois was here and we were looking at the roots and really finding out, why do I keep going through this and keep going around? And so in really examining that, I had to look at what is failure to me, or what am I seeing as failure? And I've realized that is having an idea of what you believe something should be, how it should turn out, the way that it should go. And then if it does not go that way, well, it wasn't successful. It failed. That was a failure. And so I have to look at, what does failure look like? So maybe not one single person wants a reward system for their children. I don't know. Or the products and things that I have developed don't work for them and it failed. I don't know what exactly, but I felt like I feared just failure in general, just it not being successful. But then I had to realize, what in the world? Some of these things don't even make sense that you've been dealing with. But as I've been in the Word daily, as I've been giving the word, looking up the scriptures and things, it definitely makes you examine things differently that you have been dealing with. That's what helped me to realize that this was not a thing that was real. It just caused me to have to really dive in to uncover what is really the issue. But then I realized that failure can't even exist in the will of God. So that was eye-opening to me, because I thought fear of failure is a real thing. But if you are operating in God's will, if you are being obedient to the will of God, or whatever He has asked you to do, your assignment, your orders, and you are walking that out, then where would failure even come in? The success is in the obedience to God and operating in His will for your life. That is the success. And there's always going to be fruit from that. There's always going to be an ability to encourage someone and to help them. That comes with it. And the real failure is only in disobedience or not fulfilling the will of God in your life. So as long as you are walking that out, which is fully under your control, He is not going to ask you to do something that He has not equipped you to be able to do. So as long as you're walking that out, that is the success. There is no failure, because God cannot fail. 1 Corinthians 6:7 is where I found failure. And I'm going to read though 4-8. If then you have judgments concerning things pertaining to this life, do you appoint those who are least esteemed by the church to judge? I say this to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you, not even one, who will be able to judge between his brethren? But brother goes to law against brother, and that before unbelievers. Now, therefore, it is already an utter failure for you that you go to law against one another. Why do you not rather accept wrong? Why do you not rather let yourselves be cheated? No, you yourselves do wrong and cheat, and you do these things to your brethren. This is interesting because There's definitely those lawsuits and things amongst believers. And it does make you wonder, like, you really could not work this out at all. Like, this is the way it had to be. You have to go to an ungodly courthouse to solve these issues between Christian people and people who are believers. And I see that. I see what he's saying. That is shameful. It is. That is a failure. But I also know, like, I remember recently being cheated with, we're getting our cars fixed. There was all these repairs supposedly that needed to be done. Turned out I'm not so sure they did. As well as we were told our oil was changed and they had to do a filter and all of this. But then when my husband went in there looking, it was the same filter he had put on the car. So we knew we'd been cheated, but I never said a word about it. I didn't go back dealing with it or anything, because it just felt like, really God will fight a lot of our battles. We really don't have to go through all of that. We also have had to go to court for a restraining order, after trying to go ahead and work things out. But I definitely get his point. We really could choose to not be offended in a lot of situations. Allow the Lord to work out stuff that happens. And maybe that's for somebody particularly that you're getting, was thinking about what you wanted to do about a situation. And that could be our word to just say, let it go. Give it to God. Let him deal with that. If he can, keep it simple, move on. But just to wrap up and reflect on the word failure, it needs to be understood that obedience is the success. He is faithful to reward our obedience. There is no failure in the will of God, that we can go forward in excitement. The success is in walking out the will of God for our lives. Don't forget to find the word. I will see you tomorrow.